been all afternoon. Scott Ferguson sends it down. Bjorline heads it toward the area. Here's Andy Sage again.
Step out, George.
Lugosi. The Eagles trying to sustain some pressure here. And Silva called on a turnaround push. This will be a free kick for Boston College. We have less than 25 minutes left to play in regulation, 1-1. And again, Burkhart really wearing Obana like a coat. Or really the other way around, as Burkhart peeled the ball away from Obana. Now we are going to get a card issued to Scott Ferguson of Boston College, a yellow card. Exactly 24 minutes left to play in regulation, and the Seton Hall players still down on the field. Now we can see the number 3, Tomas Friebel.
Good decision there by referee Vincent Morrow. It's been a very clean, well-played match thus far. Ferguson clearly playing the man there, issued the yellow card.
And all the players running over to the sideline to take advantage of the opportunity to get some water. It's not a hot day, but it is a warm day, and the sun is starting to beat down now. Lugosi. Andy Sage looking for a room to cross. He does cross it. Johnson ran right into it. Here's Obana. Johnson unable to settle the ball long enough to kick it.
What a great ball by Andy Sage, and Johnson running onto that one. Probably should have struck it first time. Not enough time there for 2 touches.
And Purdon again with a long clear. And it bounces over the head of Lister, so he just heads it back on goal. Scott Ferguson. Ceccarelli heads it toward goal, cleared back.
And away, turn!
Ferguson down the sideline. This will be a throw in for Seton Hall.
Settle down. Just play a simple ball. Come on, tight.
You can hear Ed Kelly. Settle down, just play a simple ball.
Settle it down.
That's the key to soccer. Play a simple ball, play a simple game, 1 and 2 touch. Most of the time you'll be successful.
And Ed Kelly didn't seem to be too happy with that long downfield feed by Chris Lugosi. Now here come the Pirates. To Silva, quick one-touch back to Studnicki.
Get in, Lister, get in.
Hector Zamora cleared away by Lister. Throw in Boston College. Obana. And this time the foul is called on Burkhart.
Chris Obana, 4 goals, 3 assists on the season. 3 of those goals have been game winners.
McCarthy with the restart. Off the head of Andy Sage. Kept in by Ray Purdon. And Purdon again looking long. He's got the ever dangerous John Silva down there. Here's Murphy heading it to Silva, taken away by Newhouser. Nazario to Studnicki, back to Nazario. He loses control, cleared down by the Eagles. 21 minutes to play in regulation as Zamora clears it back on Purdon. 21 minutes left to play in regulation. 1-1, Boston College and Seton Hall, Big East Soccer. And I think the last 2 games that we have seen on this field, Gary, are the best 2 games we have seen on this field. This has been a very entertaining game.
This has been by far the best match. And, you know, before the game, talking to the Seton Hall players, we would never have thunk that, because they were really saying how uncomfortable they are on turf. Only their second game of the season on turf, but they've really settled down in the second half, and they're playing some very attractive soccer.
Never have thunked that. I don't even want to tell people what college you graduated from. Because Fran Roberts graduated from the same college. This is Brendan McCarthy for the Eagles, setting it up. He's looking for Buerlein, and a push against Seton Hall. This will be a free kick for Boston College. Johnson. Buerlein looking for the header, gets it toward goal, and Sage tried to settle it in front. And Sage called for the push as he went in. Piled in between a couple of Pirate players. Andy Sage. Ferguson clears it back on keeper. Wisely so, with Murphy right with him. And the Eagles much more deliberate in their pace now as they set it up from the back line. This is McCarthy. Lister as they change the field. Looking for a lane of attack. Boosie takes matters into his own hands and sends it right downfield. Silva, he loses it to Johnson. Back to McCarthy, and again. This is Lister with the ball. And again, we go back to keeper.
BC are trying to use Brian Boosie's big punt as an offensive weapon.
Come on, Stevie, you gotta get up.
Neuhauser heads it forward, headed back. Now Seton Hall trying to go wide with the attack. Throw in Boston College. Boy, the pace has really, I mean, by comparison, Gary, we're moving like a snail now.
Did we jinx the game, Scott, saying what a great game it was?
I don't know. I'm wondering now if both teams seem so eager to get that tie-breaking goal. Now they both seem very cautious about giving it up. Lister goes wide for Obana. This is way off the mark, and it'll be a throw-in for Seton Hall. And another throw-in for Seton Hall.
Again. Come on, RP.
Hector Zamora. Murphy. For Monahan. Monahan with a shot just wide. Substitution now for Boston College coming into the lineup. Senior Rick Hampson.
Owen Monahan was wide open on this play. Good setup by Seton Hall. Murphy plays the ball through to Owen Monahan. You can see his man trailing behind him. That's something you cannot do. You got to put pressure on Owen Monahan. He gets a good foot on that one. It just goes wide.
And the player that Hampson will replace is John Neuhauser, who has taken a seat. You look at the shots on goal. Boston College still with a slight territorial advantage. Murphy heads it back, but it's out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for Boston College. Ferguson for Ciccarelli. Zamora. In front for Echeverry, and cleared away by Johnson.
Seton Hall looks like they want to attack though, Scott. Zamora is venturing forward from his sweeper back. That's his second run forward in the last 5 minutes.
Boston College not exactly in a defensive posture, but certainly more deliberate in their setup and more cautious on defense, I would say. And a collision and a foul against Seton Hall as Justin Ciccarelli goes down. He's back up. Free kick, Boston College. Less than 15 minutes to play in regulation. We're tied at 1, Boston College and Seton Hall. Big East soccer at its best. Gerson Echeverry taken down, play on. Play on the call. And we get another free kick for Boston College. This one just inside the attacking third. Chris Lugosi. Looking for RP Bjorline, heads it toward goal. Purton is there.
And that's similar to the set piece Boston College scored on against Villanova, looking for the head of Bjorline to head that ball back across for some on-rushing BC players.
Now we get a throw in for Seton Hall down deep. Looks like we have a couple of players warming up on the sideline.
That was number 24, Dan Hyde, warming up.
No foul!
Free kick now for Boston College. Lugosi. He went to Bjorline last time. Bjorline on the far side of the field from Lugosi. He goes near side. Back out to Lugosi. Lugosi takes the shot. It goes over everything. This will be a goal kick for Boston, or for Seton Hall.
And if George Nazario could not start today's game, Dan Hyde, number 24, was going to be the starter. It'll be interesting to see if Hyde checks in for Nazario, who his fitness level may not be where he wants it to be. Did not play against Columbia.
Johnson, and it's cleared away from him. That was Freeble with the clear. And Purton with the save in front. And it was a save because he had Ciccarelli flying right behind him.
Looked to me on that last play like Steve Johnson was sort of surprised to be so wide open and have so much time and space.
Lister out to Johnson now. Johnson looking wide to Ciccarelli. Gerson Echeverry. Now the return feed for Silva, and he manages to control it and get it back to Murphy. Murphy pops it in front, but Echeverry had slowed down and stopped running.
Not a bad idea there by Murphy. Echeverry, as you said, Scott, did not continue with his run.
And now Ray Purton will probably, well, no, he's going to distribute it wide. Now let's see if he goes to the punt, and he does. And this will be a throw-in for Boston College. Brian Boosie.
And here we're going to take a look at Boston College's best opportunity of the second half. Sage plays the ball forward. Buerlein comes in. It's going to get knocked outside by Lugosi. You can see Steve Johnson wide open here. Could have went right in on that. Instead tries to make the pass. Hits it into the middle. It's deflected outside. Good play there by Freebill.
And back to live action now, and we get a corner kick for Seton Hall.
In a 1-1 game, I'd rather have Johnson try a shot from that angle, Scott.
Second corner kick for the Pirates.
Well done, Tomas.
And a substitution now. Dan Hyde coming into the lineup for Tomas Freebill. So a change for the Pirates on the back line. Silva will handle the corner. We have exactly 10 minutes left in regulation. Silva puts it in front. It's cleared out by Johnson. And we'll get a throw in now for Seton Hall. It'll be Murphy handling the throw. Back in the corner to Murphy. Nazario tries to settle it and get it to Echeverry, but he misses on the pass, just misconnects.
Good ball there by Nazario. Once again, Echeverry did not expect the pass.
Hector Zamora clears it back downfield for the Pirates. Echeverry gets in the way of it, and Echeverry almost took it away from Lister. Lister was waiting for the ball to come down, and Echeverry took the aggressor's role. Push the call, free kick, Boston College. You look at Dan Hyde out of Centerport, New York.
Hyde has 1 assist on the season.
Lugosi off the head of Buerlein.
Away!
Buerlein with a foot on the ball. Buerlein with a second foot on the ball, wide. Hampson fed it in, and Buerlein got 2 shots at it and put it wide. The last few times down, R.P. Buerlein has been the man with the best chances for the Eagles.
Buerlein just never gives up. Here, Ricky Hampson's going to hustle to save the ball. He's going to drive it back into the middle. He's going to try and get it to R.P. Buerlein, who's the man to be there. He's always there. And there's Buerlein and Ceccarelli right there. And Buerlein just toe pokes the ball wide. Good effort there by Buerlein. Perpetual motion. Reminds me a little bit of Brian Parker from UConn.
And we come back to live action with a free kick for Seton Hall at midfield. Murphy, it's taken away from him by Hampson. Chris Obana. Obana around Buerlein. To Ceccarelli, back to Obana. Obana tries the turn and cleared out by Hyde. Now Sage with a shot. Purdon with the save. We had an offside, however. Buerlein was offside for Boston College. Seven minutes to play in regulation as Purdon punts it downfield. And we have a foul called at midfield. We'll get a restart on a free kick for Boston College. Or an offside call on the play.
Boston College has used that from time to time, the tactic, the offside tactic, running upfield right before Ray Purdon punts the ball.
This is Obana. He's had Burkhardt right with him from the get-go. Nazario with a nice move around Steve Johnson. George Nazario. He has Echeverry on one side, Silva on the other side. What a choice. He goes for Echeverry. Back to Monahan. And Monahan loses it, cleared back by Lister. And we are staring dead in the face of the prospects of overtime here with 6 minutes left in regulation. Here's Lugosi for Boston College, chasing it into the corner. Working around Zamora, kicked out by Zamora, throw in, Boston College. Zamora. That's off the head of McCarthy, so it's a throw in for Seton Hall. Hyde will handle it. Both teams starting to attack well again, a little more deliberate on the attack, but setting up well. And in that collision at midfield, Nazario called for the foul. Free kick, Boston College. Andy Sage setting it up. Buerlein wide to the left of Sage. Let's see if he cuts in. Sage pushes straight down the middle. Buerlein going for it. Buerlein in a collision with Purdon. No goal. No goal. Purdon down. Buerlein and Purdon in a collision. Now we are getting the clock stopped. 4:37 left to play in regulation. They will come out to 10 to Purdon. Earlier he was in a collision and waved off a substitution.
And here's the play. Boston College loves to run the chip by Andy Sage to the far post to RP Buerlein. Purdon's going to come off his line right here, very strong, trying to get his hands on the ball. Buerlein's playing the ball here, but clearly fouls. Not playing the ball there. Took Ray Purdon out. Could have been issued a yellow card for that offense.
And as the play went on, you'll see it go into the goal.
And here's a second look at that from another angle, and you can see Buerlein just hitting Purdon right in the head there. Clearly a foul there on RP Buerlein.
And it looked like Sage, who curled around and back and poked it into the goal, but no goal. We're still tied at 1, and Purdon stays in for Seton Hall.
He is one tough customer.
That's the second time he has been caught in a heavy collision and heavy traffic and gone down, and both times he's stayed up there. Now Sage will trigger the action again off the free kick. It was a Sage free kick that led to that last activity in the goal mouth. 4 minutes left in regulation. Again, Buerlein, and this time a little more delicate about going up for the header. Lister guards the ball as it goes back to keeper. Ceccarelli tries to drop it off his head for Obana. This will be a throw-in for Seton Hall. Seton Hall players all sitting back on that as the ball went down. Nobody up offensively. Ceccarelli. Monahan downfield. Echeverry looking for the header. Echeverry to Silva. Silva called for the handball. Hyde. And it deflects out to Andy Sage, who overran the ball and lost it out of bounds. It will be a throw-in for Seton Hall. And Dan Hyde, who just came into the game a few minutes ago, is still getting acclimated to the lines here. He almost threw it in from the field hockey line. Echeverry with a good run to the ball in the corner. Echeverry retains possession to Murphy. Murphy out to Nazario. Nazario to Echeverry. Quick give to Silva now, and a takeaway by Johnson. And the Eagles come back. Obana clearing it long. Lugosi in a foot race with Hyde. Hyde wins it. Of course, he has the fresher legs, having just come in. And now a takedown in the corner. We'll get a free kick for Seton Hall. Lugosi really, after getting beaten to the ball by Hyde with just a minute and a half to play. Boosie just punches the ball away.
Big mistake there by Boston College. They pulled the offside trap on the goalkeeper punt, and that time it did not work. 3 or 4 Seton Hall players were running in on keeper Boosie, and Boosie was forced to use his hands outside the penalty box. It's going to be a free kick for Seton Hall.
Okay, with just over a minute to play, you look at the setup from the end zone as Seton Hall now the line being moved back, and the clock stopped with 1:07 to play.
Very easy to get 10 yards distance here because you can just count off on the football lines.
Silva goes right to goal and puts it off the side, just outside. Boy, that was a tough one to call. Oh, as Fran Roberts falls out of the booth. It just hung on that net.
Looked like he curled it in here. Silva's going to try and curl the ball around the outside of the post. It's going to be interesting to see how close he comes. Monahan runs over the ball there. A little distraction, and Silva spins it. Look at him right over the last person's head and just hits it wide. Just sort of catches the edge of the post. Looks like it's hugging the net there, like it went into the back of the net, but it just went wide.
Just hung on the outside of the net and looked like it might have been in. Purdon with a save on a long feed in. That was a feed for Ciccarelli, not a shot. And Purdon had to go up and save it from going in the net. Echeverry and Monahan now. The last rush of regulation will belong to the Pirates. Murphy in front for Silva. And that is going to bring us into the final 10-second countdown of regulation. We're headed for overtime. Boston College and Seton Hall all even at 1. We will be back with the kickoff of the first overtime period right after this timeout. Overtime.
Both teams were playing some good soccer in the first and second halves. 1-2 touch soccer, moving the ball around, but right now it's just a lot of long goalkeeper punts, a lot of long balls, not a lot of possession.
Hector Zamora to Donnie Lala. Silva keeps it alive for the Pirates. Back to Silva. Pops it up in front. Owen Monahan chasing it into the corner of the area and taking a shot. It goes over the goal. Goal kick, Boston College.
Owen Monahan, 1987 Big East Southern Division Rookie of the Year. He had 9 goals and 8 assists his freshman year. Senior from Dublin, Ireland.
One of 2 players remaining on this squad who played for Ed Kelly when Ed Kelly was the head coach at Seton Hall. Silva. And that header was intended for Monahan, who just couldn't catch up with it. And we get a throw in for Seton Hall now. Burkhardt. Lala. Nice one touch to Zamora. Head for Silva. One touch back to Zamora. And he tried to get it into Monahan in the area, and it just goes out, and this will be.
Make sure you 2 here. Come on. You and someone else.
This is going to be a throw-in for Seton Hall. So the reason he didn't connect with Monahan was a deflection. Lala with the throw-in. Burkhardt cleared away from him. And it'll be another throw-in for the Pirates. Nazario. Lala overstepped his kick. Ferguson downfield for Boston College. Zamora. And this will be a throw-in for Seton Hall. Deflection off of Lugosi. Hampson clears back to keeper.
Get up right. Okay, push up. Come on, Albana, push. Get up.
I would have to say that 3 straight overtime games have really taken some of the starch out of the Pirates, Gary.
Really Perhaps it's the field against guy. They really seemed comfortable in the second half. The first 30 minutes of the second half, they really dominated this match, really scored a beautiful goal. John Silva from Gerson Echeverry, but they really have not been able to recapture that form.
Throw in Boston College. Headed toward the goal by Obana. And this will be a corner kick for the Eagles.
Nails, come on.
Lugosi to take the kick, number 6. Sixth corner of the match for Boston College. We've played 5 minutes of the second overtime. 10 minutes left in the game. Bjorline was looking for the header, and we will get a throw in for Seton Hall.
Ray Purdon really trying to make an impact on the match, but came off his line there and did not get a hand on the ball. Bjorline could have gotten his head back onto the ball, headed it back into the middle or towards net. It was wide open.
Lala played it long, but Murphy was the only player down there. Now Murphy with a little bit of room to the cutting Echeverry and cleared away by Newhouser. Throw in Seton Hall. Lala to Newhouser, or to Echeverry. Echeverry around Newhouser. Echeverry pops it in front. And Studnicki was unable to get it over the defense of Justin Ceccarelli. Now let's see how Purdon distributes. Really not a lot of depth in front of him to look at, but he goes long. Murphy, the one man downfield, and it was headed away from him by Ferguson. And really, Boston College preventing any depth to the Seton Hall attack as they keep everybody back upfield in that situation.
Just a game of goalkeeper punts. Now it's going back and forth quite a few times here.
And we will get another in all probability now as we get a goal kick for Seton Hall. Andy Sage has played the whole way for Boston College. And for Andy Sage, who has been a backbone of this Boston College team since before Ed Kelly got here, he'll get his last shot at winning a Big East tournament this year come the first week in November at Storrs. And we will, of course, have all the action for you on Nesson, the championship game live. We have less than 8 minutes to play in this second overtime period. Boston College and Seton Hall still tied at 1. Moeller. That was Sage distributing back.
See all 10 players on both teams over on the far side of the field. Really too congested over there.
Silva with a little running room to Echeverry. It's 2-on-2. Echeverry with Murphy down there. Echeverry takes the shot. Save Boosie.
And Silva had made his move around Newhouser. When play stops, Newhouser should be issued a yellow card. He clearly took Silva down, did not play the ball, and that's why Echeverry didn't have Silva to pass the ball to.
Here's Glenn Moeller now. Moeller in front for Ceccarelli. Shot, score! Boston College 2, Seton Hall 1.
Beautiful setup here by Glenn Moeller. Ball's going to be played outside here by Andy Sage over to Glenn Moeller. Moeller's going to take his time here and pick his head up. Obana's screaming for the ball in the middle, but he just waits and waits for the space to open up. Plays the ball square for Ceccarelli. Ceccarelli comes in, takes it well off the half volley, and just rockets it right by Purdon. Purdon did not even move. What a great shot by Ceccarelli. His 6th goal of the season. Let's see another angle of that one. Here's Moeller with the ball. You can see him taking his time, and he just plays the ball square for Ceccarelli. Ceccarelli runs onto the ball well and strikes it on the half volley. Beautiful goal there by Justin Ceccarelli.
And the goal came with 7:13 left in the second overtime period. And they were very late in starting the clock. Play was going underway for at least 15 seconds when they finally restarted the clock. So it'll be interesting to see as you look at the score. Boston College just going up 2-1. It will be interesting to see at the end of the game if they will go with the official time on the clock. Well, this could be the 4th win as you look at Manny Schelscheid. Now he's got to try to get it back. It'll be interesting to see if Boston College holds on here. It would be the Eagles' 4th Big East win of the season. Syracuse also with 4 wins, so you would almost have to figure that those 2 teams have a lock on Big East tournament berths. Free kick for Seton Hall. The Pirates are really going to have to pick up the tempo now, and it may be tough because they've been playing to a slow pace for the entire overtime. But now the pressure to get it going is on them. In front for Silva, and an offside call. Was that an offside call, Gary?
Yes, it was an offside call. Silva was clearly a few yards beyond the BC defense when Murphy first played the ball. And I think you make a good point, Scott. Seton Hall has really not been putting a lot of pressure on Boston College. It's going to be tough for them to regain their composure and try and get this tying goal.
You know, if they'd been continuing the type of attack they had in regulation, it would be no problem to hit that extra gear now. But when you try to shift gears all of a sudden, and a quick clear back to Purdon, when you try to shift gears all of a sudden, a lot of times you reach for it and it just isn't there. We have 5 minutes left, the clock reading 5:13, but I would think that if the official time is actually being kept on the field, we're under 5 minutes to play now. And a new number in the lineup for the Seton Hall Pirates. Neil Conde, number 20.
Sophomore from Freehold, New Jersey.
As Manny Schelscheid hoping maybe some fresh legs will be able to kick into that extra gear.
Conde saw considerable action against Connecticut last Sunday.
And Tom Field, also a new number 13 in for Seton Hall. Throw in Boston College.
Match, boys,
this is only
match.
Field's 5th match of the season. He has had 1 start, however.
Tommy, close. Joey, goal side.
The Eagles deliberate in the setup. Lugosi to Sage. Sage puts it in front. Popped up by Lala and going up to take it down. Ray Purdon. Overshot Murphy. And now Lugosi looked to clear it back to keeper. And they'll have to clear it downfield. The Pirates doing a good job of covering up to keep from getting it back. This is Obana for Sage. And those fresh legs of Conde catching up with Sage. And we'll get a goal kick for Seton Hall. 3 minutes left to play in regulation. The Pirates have got to scramble. They trail 2-1.
Purdon was really hitting some booming punts in the first and second half of this match. The overtime he's really struggling, not getting the ball downfield, hitting it out of bounds.
The 5th Big East game of the season for both of these teams. They both came in 3-1. Boston College trying to get out of here 4-1. This would drop Seton Hall to 3-2. And a collision at midfield. Donnie Lala coming up holding his ribs. And that was Sage just getting the clear back with 2 minutes left to play in the game. It's going to end here no matter how it ends. You think about 3-2, Gary, with 3 Big East games to go for Seton Hall.
And one of those matches is against Syracuse, which is going to be a very tough one.
That fact if Seton Hall walks out of here a loser, that fact, that plus the Syracuse game coming up, makes those 3 UConn ties look very big.
Makes UConn look almost like a shoo-in after, you know, we were really questioning whether UConn would make it before today's match, but this really does well for UConn.
Well, you know, we were talking about 4, and we have another collision, this just at the top of the area. A foul being called out at about the 18-yard line of the football field, which would be about 10 yards outside the area. It was Echeverry who went down. And a free kick, John Silva to handle it. We have a minute left. Oh, and almost. Zamora almost got a back foot on it to deflect it on goal. His time is running out, and his time is running out, Gary. Just to, again, discuss what could happen in the Big East. We were talking about 4 wins looking like the magic number. And this second loss to Seton Hall, which it appears is going to happen now, one of the things we discounted when we were looking at UConn's 3 wins is those ties that equal up to better than a 4th win.
Exactly right. You add the ties together, it's really a win and another tie. So they're in good shape right now. And I'm really looking forward to this big match on Wednesday, BC at PC. That's going to be a huge match for both teams. Probably a little bit bigger for Providence College, however.
For Providence now, as we have said, they have everything in front of them. They know exactly what the task at hand is. A last rush for Glenn Moeller. Purdon covers up. That will finish it off. And Boston College has come away with a very big 2-1 win. We will see Boston College again in our next Nesson telecast against Providence. So once again, the final score from Alumni Stadium, Boston College 2, Seton Hall 1.
Will happen downstairs.
Jerry, from a practical standpoint, I think it's pretty easy to realize how much of an advantage this is over the old way with film.
Well, there's no question that our coaching staff really benefits from this video. We can come off the practice field, and by the time the coaches shower and change, Dave has the practice tape ready for us. We come back in on Sunday morning from a game, and all the practice tape is ready for us, and we can break down our opponents into all different. In fact, sometimes we can go overboard in a lot of things that we get out of it. But it's a real plus for us to have Dave and the video equipment, and really helps us prepare our football team.
Well, the video equipment will be burning overtime this coming week because Coach Burke and his Owls are headed up to Happy Valley. Next up for Temple, a trip to Penn State. We'll be back to preview. Joe.